guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, I'm going to be doing a video about the different jobs I worked as a medical assistant. I decided I'm going to be splitting the video up into different parts because I don't want the video to get too long, and I want to go more into details about the different jobs that I had actually worked. So as a medical assistant, I have worked a total of 4 jobs. So it'll be 4 different videos of me letting you guys know about that specific job, the specific clinic, what area I was working in, and so on. So with the first job, it's not really considered a job. It was more of my externship. And with the externship, I had to complete a total of, I want to say 160 hours. Don't quote me on it, I'm not sure. It's been 5 years since I did it, but I know for sure it was between 140 and 180 hours. And I want to say I had to complete at least 160 or 180. I'm not sure. So okay, sorry about that. The tripod isn't working properly today, so I had to prop my camera up. Hopefully it don't fall. But yeah, let's get into this video. So I did my externship at a cardiology office. At the cardiology office, it was 2 ladies who worked front office. One checked in, one checked out. It was 1 lady who did billing and payments and verifications. It was only 1 medical assistant working there, and then it was the doctor. So it was a total of 5 people working in the office. So my first day there, it was just me shadowing the medical assistant. She was basically telling me everything that I was going to be doing, showing me where everything was, all the equipment. She showed me where I would be sitting, and it was just basically me getting familiar with the office. So after like the second day, I was out on my own. It was pretty good for the most part. The only thing I don't like is once somebody train you, or once you get trained to something, then that person tends to get lazy and then they don't want to do anything. So that was my biggest problem there, was the medical assistant there. After she trained me, I was basically out on my own. She didn't really help out with anything. She basically stayed at her desk the entire day. But if I needed something, I can go to her and then she'll help me with it. At the cardiology office, we did EKGs, we did Holter monitors, we did stress tests, and that was it. We just did those 3 main testings. Okay, so yeah, so my job responsibilities was to room the patient, do the vitals, go over their history, to see like if they smoke, if they drink alcohol, if they exercise. Basically just get information from the patient, so the provider could get more familiar with them. So it was pretty cool. So I did all that along with the 3 different testings. With the EKG, I learned how to do that in school, so I didn't really have a problem with that. The only test that I wasn't familiar with was the Holter monitors, which is similar to the EKG. The only difference is the patient have to stay connected to that machine for 48 hours. So they have to take it home, they have to shower, they have to sleep, they have to eat with it. And that basically just records like the different activity that goes on with the patient's heart. Like if they're having shortness of breath, if they're having palpitations, if they're having chest pain, chest tightness, all that was being recorded through the Holter monitor. So whenever whenever the patient turn it back into the clinic, the provider is able to see all that. Also, they had like a journal that we gave them. It was like a piece of paper, like whatever they felt, like the chest pain, tightness, palpitations, they had to write it down with the time. So like whenever the provider pulled up the information, whatever he can see, like whatever they said, like if they had the chest pain at 250, he can go like pinpoint that time and actually see if that was really chest pain or chest tightness or if it was something else. So that's what the Holter monitor does. With the stress test, like the patient will come in, they'll have to get on the treadmill. And as the time goes up, the provider will increase the speed of it just to see how the patient will react. And while the patient is on the treadmill, the medical assistant will have to manually check his blood pressure and also check his heart rate. So that was pretty cool. My time there only assisted with 2 of the stress tests. Other than that, the other medical assistant did that because she was more experienced with that. And it was basically you have to do everything on time because it was getting timed, and then the provider was increasing the speed. So as he increased the speed, then you'll have to hurry up, manually, like check the blood pressure, give the provider the blood pressure and also the heart rate. So yeah, so that's pretty much all we did at the cardiology office. Like 2 days out the week, he'll work full days. He'll work morning and afternoon. One day he might just work all mornings. The other day he'll just work all evenings. And then on Wednesdays he was not in the clinic at all. That was his surgery day, so he'll be at the hospital doing surgeries. And meanwhile, we'll just be at the office, like doing emails, catching up on paperwork, going through the faxes, and just calling patients. So Wednesdays was always our chill day at the office. What else? Oh yeah, we also had different reps that would come like during our lunchtime just to give, like, they will provide lunch from us, and then they'll talk to the provider about like what they're offered, like the different medications, different services that they're offering, just to get the provider, like let the provider get interested in that so he can use it. So we had a lot of luncheons with different reps, so that was a plus. My biggest thing that I would say I learned at the cardiology office was medications. That was the hardest thing for me, was going over like the patient's medication list, because as you know, it's a lot of medications and it's a lot of names. Some names are hard to pronounce. I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter is right here next to me. She's making noise. She just woke up. But yeah. So with the medications, it was different names, long names, hard names to pronounce. But that was something that was a must. Like, you had to know what the medication was for. You had to know like when a patient took it, whether it was in the morning, at night, if they took it with food, if they took it on an empty stomach. Like, you just had, that's something that was very important. That provider, he was pretty good with that. I remember he used to tell me if I have any questions or anything, then he can help me with it. If I want to go, like when he goes into the patient room, if I'm interested in going in there to learning more about like what he was doing or what he was saying to the patient, or just to get more information and get more knowledge of the practice, then I can follow him, and he was there actually to help me. So that was a really good thing that I really enjoyed being at the cardiology office. Other than that, everything was smooth. Yeah, so overall, my job working at the cardiology office, it was pretty good. I learned a lot, especially with the medications, with the stress test, and also with the Holter monitors. It was really good. Also, I used my knowledge as far as manually taking blood pressure, because that's all we did at school was the manual blood pressure. And at the cardiology office, he didn't have the automatic machine, so we had to do like manual blood pressures, manual heart rates, and all that. So that was also pretty good. I went straight out of school from doing that. I went from doing that in school to doing that at the cardiology office, which gave me more experience.